Welcome back to the video series on the Play framework using Scala. So we've gotten to the point in our third version of the task list where we can display the tasks, but we can't add or remove them. So we can log out, we can log in. We also don't have a create user right now. What I want to work on in this video is adding the tasks, because we already added some of the code for that. In our task list controller, we have an add task route that we can hit, and it is a post, and we just tell it the task name that we want, but we don't have JavaScript yet to support this. Now our HTML, when they click on the button, is going to call an add task method, one that doesn't yet exist. So we need to write our add task function here. And so things we need to do in this, we need to get hold of the value from this text field. So it has the ID new task. Let task equal document. And once again, in these videos, I'm avoiding the use of using jQuery. So we get our new task and we pull out the value of that field. And now we want to send a post request that will go to the add task route. Let's make sure that we have, let's say that's creating a user, the add route. Let's change this so that it hits add task for 3. Okay. And we have code up here for doing a post. Much of this is going to stay the same. We're not doing the validate route. We're doing an add route. We want to send it with a post. We need to make sure we have our CSRF token. The body that we are sending is just a stringified task. And just going to send across a simple string instead of a full object. And then we should get some data back from that. It should actually just be true or false. So we have this data. We're already in this view. So if it says true, we're going to load the tasks. If it says false, that's an interesting question. It's something we can come back to. That would be error handling for how we want to tell the user that something went wrong with our communication with the server. Okay, and then over here, the body pulled out just a string. Okay. Let's see what happens. If we refresh, we should go back once it compiles to our login screen. Okay. So that worked. In that blah appeared here, but it appeared with a whole bunch of other stuff. So our current code for loading tasks just appends new children onto here, and we didn't do anything to clear it out. So I'm going to go ahead and just a potentially simple way to do that is just set the inner HTML to be the empty string. And let's try this again. Okay, blah is sitting in there. Okay, so there we go. We have the ability to add. What about the ability to remove? So the way that has been set up in here is that, at least originally, so in the task list 2, when it went through, and we can see task list 2, when elements were added, they had an on click that was set so that they would delete the task with that index. And so if we want to try to reproduce that same type of capability, we need to make it so that when we add tasks in, when we load them in, that we set that up. So we can set an on-click here, and the on-click will take an event. And what should it do with that event? It should delete this particular task. Now, the way I've written this for loop is going to cause us some challenges there. In the previous Scala code, when we generated this with twirl, I did a zip with index so that we had both the task name and the index. JavaScript doesn't have a zip with index, so I fear that what I'm going to have to do here is is to switch this loop. Let I equals 0, I less than task.length plus I, and go to a kind of more traditional for loop here, and we can have const task equals tasks sub I to pull it out so that the code that was referencing task still works. Actually, it looks like we're only using it in one place here. So maybe that's just a more efficient way to do it. And then onClick needs to make a post call. If we look in routes, our previous version, the deleting a task was a post. And so if we're going to follow this, we will then make a post request that goes in post, and the route will be the delete route. Once again, CSRF token, stringify of I will be our only value that's going through. And this will return true or false. Once again, if it returns true, I will want to load the tasks to get the refreshed list of tasks. I don't know about you, but I see a fair bit of boilerplate here on these fetches. The fact that I have copied this code 3 times, and the only thing that has changed has been the route and the contents of this body, tells me that this is probably something I could abstract. We also have a similar situation over in the controller, where we have this handling of the JSON. Indeed, if we were to start adding our delete route, so let's copy the delete route from version 2. So we'll call this delete task 3, and it will use task list 3's delete. And if we def delete action implicit request. Okay, this is a lot like add, and in fact that right there, once again, as I was saying, I have a whole bunch of copying and pasting that's kind of going on inside of here. Some of it is for verifying the username and making sure that they are logged in, and some of it is for handling the JSON body. In this case, this is not a string. This one is an int. Task number. So we have a remove task, which takes the username and index. Let's go ahead and let's call this index. Yeah, so that would take us back to the beginning if they sent us bad data. Actually, instead of redirecting all of these, probably could just send back falses in those cases. Yeah, that's probably actually a delete for us. I guess the thing to do would be to try that. Okay, so we're back to the original videos, and the reason we have the original tasks, and the reason for that is because I did change the Scala code, so it had to recompile. Uncaught promise in. Okay, so we got something in our response that wasn't just JSON. We'll come back and we'll look at that and fix it in the next video.